Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bring It Down. Let's rest up, and then we'll continue chasing the dragon by Dream Evil.
We have our own craftsmen. They weave cords, carve bone, make figurines out of mud. Your goddess probably wouldn't even look at garbage like that, would she?
Why not? I think she'd be glad that even in such terrible circumstances, you never stopped longing for beauty.
It's time to break camp and move out. You sit, watching the last embers of the campfire burn away. Without speaking, Sosiel sits beside you and breathes in the smoky air. You feel the warmth of his shoulder next to yours. Did you sleep well? I had a wonderful night. The cleric smiles at you. You feel something at your side. Looking down, you notice Sosiel's hand has found its way into your pocket. Alright, buddy. Calm it down. He seems to think he's being stealthy, but he rummages with all the grace and subtlety of an owlbear stomping through the woods. Grab his hand. Sosiel gasps and looks away in embarrassment. You take his hand from your pocket and notice he's clutching a folded piece of paper. I wrote you a poem and put it in your pocket while everyone slept, but I'm an artist, not a poet. Better to burn it without reading it. Alright, burn the letter, as you wish. The thin paper turns black and curls among the embers, quickly turning to ash. Sosiel watches you anxiously, trying to tell whether you're offended. Did you like it? You think less of him now. There's an awkward silence. It's time to break camp and move out. Sosiel doesn't speak, avoiding your gaze with a dejected expression. So rejecting their advances has no impact on their actual quest line, so don't feel bad about turning them down. Because some of the methods to turn down the companions are pretty brutal. There's not really an easy way to let them down. Alright, so we do have an army in the way. Let's go ahead and rest up, just so the army gets another turn.
You can get used to anything. To monsters, to demons, to war, even to peace. But the huge sky overhead? Every time I look up, it sends a shiver down my spine.
You and Chicken Little both. I need to change the meal. I need soup right now. So you can... Actually, I don't think you can make it past an army. If you approach an army with your party, you'll be forced into a random encounter, a battle. The mine was once filled with the undead, but has now been cleaned. I think cleansed would have been a better word. When demons got close to the mine, to save themselves, the miners blocked the entrance, hoping that help would arrive before they starved to death. Alas, help never arrived. Those trapped suffered a truly horrible fate. A daily income increase, material points times 5. I think we have a clear path to Grimwood now. I'm going to send Setsuna back towards these armies closer to Dresden. I'll just let him flee. Warriors have discovered what attracted such a horde of monsters. An impressive ambulant laboratory belonging to some insane alchemist. The laboratory had been mercilessly plundered, and the jars of elixirs and ingredients bore sinister holes, in which the hideous creatures had consumed their contents like some exquisite nectar. Luckily, some of the alchemist's inventory survived, and now belongs to the Crusaders. We got 60 energy points. Yeah, that was send Setsuna north next. Clear out the riffraff up there. This should be Devara again. Stupid and delicious. I'll feast well today. Troublesome prey. You're hardly worth it. I'll kill you another time. When... something. I'll kill you another time when you have a little more meat on your bones. Sorry, Bismuth.
I'm gone.
We should be in the clear until Grimwood, so I'm going to wait and rest once we get there. There's always the risk of an actual random encounter on the way, but it's not that far away. Alright, Grimwood. This gloomy thicket, which was once home to plentiful game, is now desolate. A terrible predator hunted almost all the living creatures to extinction, and taught all who remained to live in fear. The trunks of age-long trees are covered in marks of dragon claws, and traces of a forest fire can be found here and there. Here's my advice to you, Lan. You want to stop coming across as a savage. Stop eating every meal with your knife. Other cutlery is available, you know. Next time I find myself at a royal reception, I'll remember that, Grey Boar. The Queen probably has 13 different forks for one main course. Oh yeah, I meant to change that again. Crusaders killed the cultists who were gathering an army of wild giants to storm Dresden. Now that Dresden is safe, workers can be transferred from the urgent strengthening of the walls to other important tasks. Daily income increased, finance points times 200. Chasing elementals away to their home planes, Crusaders find a huge crystal filled with magical energy. It appears that it was imbued with the elemental force many years ago, and could convoy to Dresden but never arrived. Its guards have perished, and the crystal itself, a powerful vessel of magical essence, has been drawing elemental spirits year after year. We got 80 energy points. The fortress was a sanctuary for spellcasting demonologists. The fire that started during the battle spread to the libraries filled with blasphemous knowledge. The glow of this massive fire lights up the dark expanses for miles around. We leveled up. Yeah, so we want the arcane magic ability here. The general casts spells with the arcane descriptor as if he has a +5 bonus to power per level of this feat. There's also magical channeling available. The general has a +5% bonus to energy recovery per level of this feat. And divine magic is the same as arcane magic, but for divine magic. The general casts spells with a divine descriptor as if he has a +5 bonus to power per level of this feat. A gang of demons hunting runaway slaves was not reckoning on facing the commander's conquering forces. Among the bloody corpses, the Crusaders discovered a dark, god-forsaken altar fashioned from the teeth of demons, captured victims, and the webs of the monstrous mechanical spider retrievers. The soldiers clamored to burn it, but the more tactically minded officers decided not to rush into anything, and passed it on to the commander for examination. And we got the altar of the first retrievers. Barely a soul has ever managed to escape the revenge of the demons. The fiends dispatched their retrievers, the creepy mechanical spiders they created for hunting, to silently track down their enemies, runaway slaves, or renegade cultists. As legend has it, the first retriever is made by the demon lord Hegenti, the Lord of Transformation. Throughout the ages, the first retriever fell under the ownership of different demon masters, but was an impeccable servant to all. A mortal heretic and twice renegade finally put halt to the first retriever's murderous servitude. The Templar of the Ivory Labyrinth, whose name is unknown, repented of his deeds and left the cult. The first retriever was sent forth on his trail, but never returned. Both retriever and prey fell in the fight. Later, the demons discovered the retriever's remains, a cobweb had turned them into an altar. The retriever's ravenous hunger seeped into the altar. Decades later, worshippers took their sacrifices there, ripped out teeth of all who tried to flee the demon's wrath, were caught and slain. Let's take a look around and find a suitable place for an ambush.
We do it my way.
This is the place. Let's set up an ambush here.
Follow if you dare.
There's no reason to buff up yet because you have to wait for the dragon to arrive, and I think it takes 8 hours, so by that point most of your buffs have worn off. Unless you have enduring spells and greater enduring spells.
I'm off. I'll take care of it.
Greyboar meticulously scans the surrounding area and appears pleased with the results. The talon-like hooks of several collapsible spikes protrude from his pack. The dwarf produces a small, tightly wrapped bundle from his pocket, and its pungent smell fills your nostrils. Come over here. This is where we'll set up an ambush for the dragon. Let's light as many fires as we can, so she thinks there's a whole caravan staying here overnight. You can be sure she won't resist such easy prey. How do you plan to lure the dragon here? You act like a group of careless foragers, ordinary hunters looking for wild game to provision the Crusader army. Let's go out hunting, and then we'll hang the carcasses up on hooks and clean and gut them. When the dragon catches the scent of blood and sees the fires, he'll think we're inexperienced nobodies. After all, no skilled hunting party would draw so much attention to themselves. Easy prey, you see. Then, when she swoops down upon us, we'll pounce on her instead. What is that stench? It's frog's eye, some herb from Magnamar, used as seasoning by the Varisians. I'm not sure they can even eat anything without it. The heat of the fire will cause the smell to rise up in the air, where the wind will carry it far and wide. The dragon will surely catch our scent and take interest. Dragons have a heightened sense of smell, and their sense of taste is even more discerning. The beast won't be able to resist the chance to try some strange new kind of meat. Let's get started. The dwarf nods his approval. He is calm and composed as he readies himself for battle, but his eyes shine with excitement. This is going to be a fine ambush. Yeah, 12 hours. I can see her, Commander. You ready to fight? Sound the alarm. So we do have time to buff up. I'm going to pull back here.
It's time to act!
I will help where I can.
We should move.
A bright future awaits.
I will lend you my aid.
We don't actually need Death Ward against the dragon, but doesn't hurt to stay on practice.
All will be revealed. But then there will be no mysteries anymore. What a nightmare.
I'm your blade.
I am never wrong.
Rely on me.
Always be ready for it.
My skills are absolute.
Doubt is the heart's
Anything
greatest
new?
challenge.
The world has suffered enough.
I'm all ears.
I do what I must.
You are my favorite aide.
Alright, then one haste. Should be all set.
Are we in trouble yet? You've crossed the wrong mountain.
We won't fall here. I swear it.
Try to pierce through the scales. If the wound is deep enough, go to use the trail of blood to track her down. I forgot to enlarge Greyboar in my paladin.
Strike!
What an intriguing smell you have, little hunters. Has no one warned you that there's a hungry dragon roaming around these parts? Let's pull him back. Don't want to risk. Last stand for too long. You will regret this. I will remember you. When we meet again, I promise. Well done. The wound is deep. She'll lose a lot of blood. After her.
I'm gone.
I think they did the dwarves a disservice in this game with the way they run.
You know what you're doing.
I mean, it looks very
Precisely.
cartoony. That was not the case in Kingmaker, as far as I remember.
We do it my way.
I should take us straight into a book event. The ground is covered in fresh dragon blood and deep claw marks. The wing silhouette soars high up into the night sky and heads east, doubtless toward her lair. The assassin gives the commander a thumbs up and throws his pack over his shoulder. The ambush was a success. Serious loss of blood, though not fatal, caused the dragon's heart to compensate by contracting more rapidly in order to oxygenate the muscles. This makes it more difficult for her to breathe and weakens her wing capacity. The lack of oxygen then leads to convulsive seizures that force the dragon to descend for short rests. It takes her the entire night to travel the distance she could normally cover in a few hours. There was a bloody trail over here. I might just go ahead and teleport back to Resin. Maybe it won't let me while I'm on the hunt. Let's knock this out real quick. Begging for mercy, one of the imprisoned demons points at an inconspicuous crack in the rock that their unit had been ordered to guard until the arrival of a pack of slaves. Examining the crack, Crusaders return to the commander and proudly display a handful of shining dust to him. The crevice is home to an adamantine lode. This rare and precious metal will come in useful to the Mendevian army. Daily income increased, material points times 5. During the First Crusade, the Radiant Serenray performed a miracle here, granting the Crusaders victory in a battle that was otherwise lost. Years later, during the Second Crusade, the Knights of Mendev clashed with the Army of the Abyss here once again. They fought to the bitter end, but the miracle was not repeated. The carnage was atrocious, and those who fell found no repose, rising again as undead. Now they have found peace in the flames of bonfires. Crusaders cleansed the blood and dirt from the statue of the Sun Goddess, lifting with trembling hands the sacred golden symbol from her chest, a relic long believed to have been lost. Oh, we got Faultless Daybreak. I think that's a moniker for Serenray. Is it also the name of her scimitar? That last bit I may have maybe misremembering. But yeah, I think that's one of her monikers. In the course of the First Crusade, a group of Serenray worshipping healers went to the aid of Galfrey's army. However, in the dark of the night they were attacked by a gang of demons and demon-worshipping cultists who had edged into their rear. Alright, phrasing. Though unskilled in battle, the clerics and healers fought desperately, repelling one attack after another, but the sides were not evenly matched. No one was left to repel the final attack. All of the Serenray adepts were wounded. No one was able to raise their sword, so they met the enemy with prayer. And a miracle happened. The morning broke an hour early, and the first rays of dawn expelled the demons into the abyss. The light healed the most terrible wounds of the mortals, and brought the fallen, whether righteous or sinful, back to life. But the believers and the misguided shed their tears. They fell to their knees as one, and prayed to the bright goddess for forgiveness. And forgiveness was granted. Not a single mortal died on that bloody night. The last and the brightest ray of dawn blinded everyone into the shape of the sacred symbol of Serenray. They named the relic the Faultless Daybreak, and placed it on the breast of a statue mounted on the site where the miracle had happened. So I like that detail. So Serenray did that. Yeah, so whether righteous or sinful back to life. So she even brought the cultists back to life. I believe one of her domains is redemption. Let's take care of this dweeb first. But again, maybe Surrender is not redemption. I know Shaylin has it. I'm pretty sure Surrender does as well. Huge clefts have been hewn into the rocky land, leaving only a high narrow passage, wide enough for a rank of only 5 soldiers. Demons put up a fierce defense of the cliffs above, but were slaughtered, so now Crusaders can take control of this advantageous defensive position. We got a new fort. We need to try and get to this guy, which I think we can get to from here. Let's look at our forts real quick. Alright, let's see. The Logistic Council is assembled and awaits the commander at the headquarters for the first meeting. We have a few events. Let's start with this. Giants. A progressive alchemist by the name of Zagoforns ran a series of experiments in an attempt to improve the potion of legendary proportions, but something went wrong. The soldiers who tasted this creation cannot return to their natural form, have grown quite dim. However, the alchemist assures everyone that no harm has been done, since giants are more useful than ordinary soldiers. And the usefulness of intelligence in a soldier is debatable in the first place. So we send the giants to perform heavy manual labor. We'll get work for the giant's decree. A material points income increases by 1. Cure the poor victims. We'll get healing the giant's decree. Crusade morale increases by 20. Use the giants in battle. We'll get abnormal giants. Only 2 of them though. It's not that great. I found a separate settlement for the giants. We get the giants village decree. Materials points income increases by 2, adds 1500 logistics experience points. Roleplay wise, we're going to cure the poor victims. So Crusade morale increases by 20. That's just... it's not great. In fact, it's the... I think it's the worst option out of the 4. But we're roleplaying. Other soldiers are worried about their comrades' fate. The commander's decision has emboldened them, and the alchemist Zagoforns has been reprimanded harshly. One more day till that's done. Oh wait, I was there for a reason. I'm trying to manage my fort, sorry. So 4 there. 4 there. You can rename your forts as well. Alright, 1 building for now. I'm not gonna waste too much gold on all this stuff. Alright, I guess we'll head back this way. Now, your right side reacts more vigorously to temperature changes than your left side. I wonder what will happen if we freeze your right side and set your left side on fire. Games are always trying to do that to me. Guess how their experiments ended. Another army approaching us. A gang of cutthroats who sold their conscience for demon gold has been destroyed. Their chief, a battle-hardened, scar-ridden mercenary, laden with valuable artifacts, is hanging in the noose. The trophies he received from murder will come in useful for the Crusaders. We got bracers of heavy hand. These bracers grant the wearer a +3 bonus on damage rolls with the offhand weapon when dual wielding or wielding a two-handed melee weapon. For example, a double weapon. We need to head over this way. This is the army that's approaching us. I might try to use my other army to defend. May not go well, but we can try. Defeating the horde of flying monsters swooping from the sky, many Crusaders got thinking that the battle tactics they know are not always suited to demon confrontation. With every new battle, the army gains invaluable experience, and soldiers are eager to learn from where their lives depend on it. Knowledge is power, after all. Alright, we'll swoop this way. Alright, the bloody trail. The ground is drenched in dragon's blood, dried but still visible. An injured dragon has been resting here recently. Dark splotches of dried blood are visible on the ground. Its foul, pungent scent awakens the predatory instinct of the hunt. Everything nearby is splattered in blood, as if a battle took place here, or someone slaughtered a herd of goats. Yet this blood belongs to neither human nor goat. Its sulfurous odor indicates that this is the blood of a rare fire-breathing dragon. Injured and exhausted, the fleeing dragon stopped here to rest. The commander decides to... Yeah, we'll try. Yeah, we don't have the perception for it, so ask the assassin for advice. This is one of the few situations in the game where it's only you that can do it. They did away with a lot of that in Wrath of the Righteous. Kingmaker had a lot more main character specific skill checks, because there are a few places you had to go by yourself. But ask the assassin for advice. The dwarf points confidently to the south. The Dragon Slayer is hidden somewhere among the mountain gorges. The Artisan's Tower. The commander and his followers are traversing the mountains, trying to track down the female woundworm that has lately been wreaking havoc around Dresden. The dwarf leading the party approaches the edge of the cliff and points down to the ruins of a tower built upon the rock 300 feet below. Its very existence raises a number of questions. Who dared to build a tower here, so close to the demons? Why were they erected here, at the bottom of a canyon? An expert analysis of the tower structure provides the answers. Numerous features in its design indicate that the building dates back to the golden age of the Aslanti Empire. It is several times older than the World Wound. It was originally constructed on top of a mountain, before the cataclysm changed everything. The tectonic plates shifted, causing the tower to sink to the bottom of a newly formed canyon, and the mountains rose up around it like the jaws of a predator, ready to snap shut and bury it beneath the rock forever. The ancient ruins have been abandoned for ages, barely visible amidst the steep cliffs. The tower would have remained hidden had the commander's party not discovered it by following the trail of blood. The dwarf signals that it is time to descend. The alpine path leading to the tower soon splits into two directions. On the left is a rocky ledge, dangerously narrow and visibly unstable. On the right is a broad path, covered in overgrown brambles and thickets. There are many poisonous plants in these mountains, some of which are so dangerous that merely touching them can lead to numerous adverse reactions. These include, but are not limited to, migraines, disorientation, vomiting, hearing and vision loss, paralysis, and even death. The commander assesses the risks and chooses the steep and dangerous path to the left. We do have Sunshine with us, so realistically we could use Sunshine to help navigate it. The book event is not going to take that into account, though. The commander decides to take the path to the left, which descends steeply down at a dangerous angle. The loose stones along the ledge are treacherous and unstable, and one wrong step could cause a rock slide. I'm getting tongue-twisted today. This is a task for either a person of outstanding acrobatic talent, or someone attentive and cautious. Whoever leads the way will take on the greatest risk. The commander sends his most agile companion to lead the way. Predictably, the path that's been chosen is full of dangers. Lamb makes a dangerous leap, dislodging the stones beneath his feet. He comes dangerously close to falling, teetering precariously before managing to regain his balance. Having witnessed such a near tragedy, his companions watch their steps more carefully, and the party navigates the remainder of the perilous trail without further incident. The path comes to an abrupt end. A recent rock slide has destroyed this section of the trail, leaving behind only a few footholds for those brave enough to attempt the crossing. The commander's allies hastily tie themselves together with rope, hoping to prevent a fall if anyone loses their footing. The dwarf silently indicates his mountaineering equipment. If they choose to climb down the mountain cliff, they'll be able to get back onto the path and avoid the dangers ahead. The commander orders the most agile of his companions to carefully lead the party down the slope, using the ledges as footholds. Like I said, getting tongue-tied today. The commander and the companions descend lower and lower, leaping from one ledge to another. Thanks to his combat expertise and presence of mind, Land does not panic or make a single mistake. He skillfully leads his followers across the treacherous terrain, and eventually they reach a secure rock ledge. With a cry of warning, the dwarf points to the sky. Giant birds of prey circle ominously overhead. Their beak morphology indicates their carnivorous nature, and their large size suggests they consider those climbing down the cliff to be prospective prey. It is common for them to fling their quarry against the cliffs, and then feed on the carcasses. With ear-piercing shrieks, they swoop into formation, and dive down to attack. The commander gives the order to... Like we could do an intimidate check here instead. We have a better chance of scaring off the birds. So scare off the birds. Nenia pulls out a knife and runs the blade over the stones. Metal makes a grating sound and the birds fly away in fright. It is the same sound that their sworn enemies, mountain cats, make when they sharpen their hard claws on the rocks. See, I like that. That makes sense. I feel like that's something Nenia would know. The party overcomes every obstacle and finally descends to the ruined tower. The mountain has been conquered, and no one has fallen victim to its treachery. Now they secretly approach the unsuspecting dragon, stealthily making their way through the surrounding rocks. After leading them to the tower, the dwarf gives his newfound allies a nod of respect, and signals for caution. I think it gives you a sign of respect if you're the one that finds the dragon's lair as well, with that perception check. So here, if you worship Gorham, you can invoke his name and get a buff for the upcoming battle. There's a few locations you can do that. Winter Sun, if you worship Serenray, you get a buff, which we haven't done yet. The Defense of the Defender's Heart in Act 1, if you worship Kate and Kalian, you'll get a buff. The fight with Monago and Staunton at the end of Act 2, if you worship Calistria, she'll give you a buff. I think that's all the ones I know offhand. Then, I'm willing to bet there's a boss fight later on where I guarantee you get a buff from Iomade. But we'll see in this playthrough if that's the case. So typically if you see the chance to invoke your god's name, do it, because you get a nice little buff for the upcoming conflict. Alright, but I'm going to call it here for now. Next time we will enter the tower and confront the dragon and find somebody else who's been missing for a little bit. And it's not Woljev. But either way for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.